obviously you've seen what's going on, and
Oh yeah, I'm on vacation in Japan, and then I check my phone, and the entire Tekken community is burning to the ground.
yeah. How do you feel
Yeah.
about what's going on, about what you're
I
seeing?
mean, I made a community post where I basically said I told you so, and maybe that was vain, but I think at this point it's. I used to say that doesn't matter if you if I end up being right about this or not, or how you feel about me. The important thing is that we have to come together and try and turn this around and get a bunch of feedback in front of the publishers and developers so that the game can be saved, because ultimately I love the game and the franchise and I want it to be saved, but I think things are so far gone at this point that I think it's time to just piss on the ashes and troll the people still coping, and make the publishers and developers feel really, really bad about what they've done to us, essentially. But I think there are two main things we want to address when we're talking about what's happened with the season 2 patch. The first thing is that this is something that has been gradually happening and getting worse
11
for
घंटे की थोड़ी
many,
है.
many years. Right? This is not like a new thing. The season 2 changes are a culmination of a trend that's been going on since, really, in my opinion, the previous entry in the franchise. And I went back and looked at some old videos of mine, and I was predicting that something like this would happen between 4 and 5 years ago. And I think the main concern I had back then was that when Namco make most of their money in the offline scene, so sponsorships and tournaments and stuff like that, and through additional monetization, like back then DLC
महाराज
and
अब नहीं
now
खेलेगा
the
क्या game?
Tekken store, there's no real commercial incentive for them to focus on making a strong base product, because they can only sell the base game once, but they can sell all of these additional things multiple times, right? And when the commercial incentive to make a strong game doesn't exist, you're not going to get a strong base game. So I think Namco's strategy has been to use their industry plants in the content creation community and their own statements on social media to gaslight the community into believing that things are happening that aren't.
उसका भी भाई
So, for example, if you
मन नहीं कर
tweet
रहा
every
होगा
3
ऐसा
months
patch
that you are going to do something about cheating, then you don't actually
ऐसे
have to
update
do
के बाद
something
से
about
कौन
cheating,
ही खेलेगा.
because the casual player base, the money spenders, take statements like that at face value, for example. So one thing I think you want to talk about is the fact that this is the season 2 changes. It's just a culmination of something that has gone on for a really long time, and it's just gotten so ridiculous with this patch that even the people who are coping the very hardest, even the people who don't really understand the game that well, can tell that it's gone way too far right now.
Frame Whisperer, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you feel like there's great communication with Bandai Namco and the community?
Okay. Fuck it, Scorched Earth. I remember I told you guys that I heard from a friend that there was a Tekken content creator who had tweeted something negative about Fakum Lam, and then got phone calls, got privately contacted by Bandai Namco, and Michael Murray asked him to take down his tweet. That person was Spaghetti Red.
Oh.
Yeah. So that person by Bandai Namco about Fakum Lam, a Tekken content creator who had tweeted something negative about Fakum Lam, and then got phone calls, got privately contacted by Bandai Namco, and Michael Murray asked him to take down his tweet. That person was Spaghetti Red.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I wasn't trying to like.
No, but it's because I was looking at these videos that I made 4 or 5 years ago, and up until recently, and I was trying to never, name names or go against anybody or even be negative about specific developers or whatever. But my favorite game franchise is basically fucking dead right now, and these people's fault. So Scorched fucking Earth, I have no fucking respect for any of them anymore. Yeah, Scorched fucking Earth. Piss in their fucking mouth. That's your fucking fault. I mean,
that's big.
BDX and Spaghetti released fucking They Listened videos within an hour of one another with pretty much identical titles the same week the season 2 patch fucking dropped. Okay.
Yeah. So you
So,
reckon they're
so,
running damage control?
so your credibility score is fucking 0 out of 10, as far as I'm concerned. If you are releasing fucking they listened videos the same week, the patch that fucking permanently kills the franchise drops. I mean, right? And then, it's easy to go like this and see which way the wind's blowing and then start ripping on the game and start to voice your concern and how to fix the game now. But it's already gone so far. And these people are fucking complicit, and the developers are obviously fucking complicit, and all of these fucking casual bad players who haven't been fucking gate kept enough, who have been growing up in a nerfed fucking world where they can cry to their mommy and they're overworked poor fucking teachers whenever something doesn't just fucking land in their lap. You know, it's their fault, and they have taken something very special, and now it's just this fucking radioactive mess that anybody who understands it at any significant level is just completely fucking exhausted with. I mean, a completely new season dropped. All the characters have new moves, and us, the most like infatuated Tekken players in the world, don't even want to sit down and play it.
Yeah, I don't even want to. I didn't even. Yeah, it's like you say.
Yeah,
I don't
rank
even. Know, I
torture.
didn't even know.
Absolutely.
So here's the point. People are saying, well, constructive criticism and don't blah, blah, blah on the developers. I think it's open fucking season on these people right now. Troll them as hard as you fucking can, okay?
Can I ask you a question, Frame? You know about what you said just now about Spag and Fakuram and that. Do you think that is also being extended to other people in his position or other content creators?
Definitely. Now, I'll say this first of all. I don't know if that is true. It's a rumor I heard from somebody else who spoke to him directly, right? So I can't verify if that's true, but I completely believe it. And yes, obviously it happens with everybody else who works directly with Bandai Namco, okay? I don't think you should look for like really insightful, open and honest takes on the Tekken 8 patch from Tasty Steve either. Okay? Because Bandai Namco are keeping him in fucking armbands.
Could you like tell us in your opinion who you think, other than obviously you said Spag for Spaghetti Rip, Tasty Steve, who do you think is running damage control for this game?
I don't fucking know, and we also don't know how deep these relationships go and what's happening. But I think once you have a very friendly relationship with these people, it at least becomes very difficult to be honest. And then there's a spectrum straight up to like, he calls you at night and tells you that, you better fucking take down this tweet or it's your next paycheck. And who knows? It's not even fun to speculate about. I don't care, but I know that these people aren't fucking idiots. I know that they're really good at the game, and there's no fucking way that they are not idiots, are good at the game, and think this is a good patch.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
100%.
If you go to Main Man's chat and he has a fucking sticky message that says, I will tolerate no harassment of the developers in my chat. Meanwhile, and it's like the most embarrassing fucking thing that has happened in these last few days is like Michael Murray and Harada saying, please tweet us with your constructive criticism on
It's
this,
so
and
good.
then people who, unlike me, because I have to troll them. It all comes down to like jokes and humor for me. So I end up talking about ass fucking and cock sucking, and it's simply those two things. So there's some sort of repressed homosexuality going on with me, but people who are being like very very articulate and just going like, here's why we don't think this is good. And Michael Murray is blocking them instantly. And I'm going to tell you a story. I went to Evo Japan and competed in, I think it was 2018 or 17 or around there, back in the 7 days, okay? So long before all of this happened, when my channel was new and I didn't have that many subs. But a couple of people recognized me and came up and wanted to hang out at the tournament. And they said, oh, Michael Murray, yeah, he banned me on Twitter a long time ago. And then somebody else came up, oh, he banned me too. And I had no idea that was going on. And I asked them why. And it was like they had said the tiniest, most like, these tiny, not even like aggressive things, negative about the game or him, even jokes, or something. He's been just banning people for, who knows how long. I would love to see how long the ban list on his fucking Twitter is, because I bet
It
it's
has to be
thousands and
thousands. It has to
thousands
be
of people.
Thousands of people.
So he
thousands
is
of people.
like somebody who's in charge of communicating with the community and somebody who we're supposed to send feedback to. And he's one of the most thin-skinned, like completely pathologically weak sauce fucking human beings who has been curating his own fucking echo chamber for so many years now. I mean, fucking release the block list, Murray. I want to see how many people you have blocked because you are so fucking frail and you lack confidence to an extent that you probably should talk to a fucking doctor about it. I mean, if you have these personality disorders and you're so fucking bad at communicating and you are so fucking horrible and incompetent at your job, I sympathize with you, but go be a fucking train wreck on your own time. There are millions of people who play Tekken, and you are putting your dirty ass fucking fingers in everybody's mashed potatoes right now.
I love
You
French,
said
man.
something the other day. It's time
French,
for these fucking pros who have been fucking glazing this game because they know it's the only paycheck they'll ever have to start putting the fries in the fucking bag. I want Michael Murray to start putting the fries in the fucking bag, because you obviously have nothing left to do when it comes to this community. You have dragged it down to the absolute fucking bottom level it has ever been. I don't know at this point if we as a community will ever be able to recover, and it's these people's fault. So when people say, well, you know, be constructive in your criticism, when we know for a fact that that's the last thing they'll fucking listen to anyway, I don't buy it anymore. This fucking myth about civil discourse being the way forward. Make them feel like the fucking clowns they are, okay? And if we can get rid of them, maybe there's something left to salvage here. But honestly, looks right now, and I mean, I have a track record going back, you know, a decade of predicting these things. There won't be a season 3, and they're going to sell the fucking franchise to 10 cents, and then it's going to be a gacha game where you buy the little crystals, you know. And if you buy enough crystals with your
ये
credit
starting से ही बोल रहा था
card,
कि
maybe you get to see
ये
Xiaomi
game
naked, even though she's 16.
Tekken को kill कर सकता है.
I mean, I wanna
That
say.
is where
Can I go after
right?
Finn? Can I go after Finn?
Yeah,
जब वो Tekken shop ऐड किया तो तब से ही
Okay,
बोल रहा है
yeah.
ये.
Oh my god.
सही
one
बोल रहा
thing you
था
mentioned
यार.
with the sheer principle of we want feedback for the game. Please give us our feedback, and they do that on Twitter, where they can create their own echo chambers like Michael Murray does. I mean, we have 2025. Why is there not in 2xKO at least? Okay, yeah, shit game, whatever people say, the memes 10xKO, it's fine. But the developers actually played with you. You get a question, a developer, like what is this? We have 2025. Why is there not a feedback form I can fill out, which also asks the right questions
look at
in
fucking
game?
Capcom. Look at Capcom. They just released Monster Hunter Wilds, the biggest fucking hit of the year probably, and they are sitting down with dedicated full-time community managers. They have community managers in different regions, and they sit down.
हाँ इसने तो ये भी कहा Brian is the worst fighting game character.
And they are so good at
Main man ने
responding
reply
to
video
feedback
बनाया था.
that this first
इनका तो
free
beef
update
चलता ही
they're
रहता है.
releasing in a couple of days is going to fix like the major issues that the dedicated players who really love the
They
game
said they're making
have.
the fights harder and shit, yeah?
Yeah, it
For
just, and then they're
example,
buffing the weakest weapons, and they're nerfing the strongest weapons, and they're adding all this
लो ले
variety.
सर.
So it's not an excuse that you're
Tekken
like a
7
weird Japanese
match ही नहीं
company
मिलता है.
and
No.
you're doing it, you know, the old way. I mean, there are you
अभी
have
शायद मिल जाए,
peers who
देखूंगा.
are absolutely fucking slaying your ass when it comes to this. Why do we not have a community manager? They hired one at Bandai Namco, that Android 18 girl, and I even spoke to her. She was in my comments and, you know, saying that she appreciated my videos and stuff. She fucking disappeared. Why do I have to tweet the private Twitter account of an incompetent fucking flame imp who has been ruining this franchise for a decade, so I can get blocked and the feedback never reaches anybody anyway?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
That is the thing.
It's so stupid.
We know he said this. We know that he literally said this in the Tekken talk. He
प्रेम
said
तो
this in interviews.
वैसे ही
He collects
hate करता
feedback
team.
and gives that to to the
मेन
balance
के लिए
team,
सारी
but he
रिस्पेक्ट खत्म हो
blocks
गई यार.
people who
After
like
blocking
go too
people,
far
yeah.
with the feed. Like what? This is completely insanity. That he is the one who
Exactly.
relays feedback. It's
So
completely
the only
insane.
information that trickles through is the one that,
Exactly.
hey, he probably sends a memo to the balance team once a day going, hey, hey, balance team, this guy on Twitter said I'm pretty cool, so I guess you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously an incompetent person who shouldn't be doing this. And it's also interesting that the current director Nakatsu of the game has worked on all these Soul Calibur games, because don't think we haven't noticed that the game is turning into Soul Calibur in a big way. If you don't know this, in Soul Calibur, the way that moves work is that some of them are vertical and some of them are horizontal. So like half of your move list is basically homing moves. Huge homing
वो कैलिबर बना देगा.
and so the mix-up is kind of that sidestepping and walking can beat kind of half of the moves, but then the other half
नहीं
of it
नहीं.
is caught by these horizontal moves, right? But that's a
Main
game where you
man.
have 8-way movement and you can move around like
मेन
crazy.
मैन तो भैया
And all the characters have these different specialist
Kill है
ranges
वो
and
भी.
stuff. Now it seems like, I mean, how many characters got like a full screen hitting fucking broken homing move?
Everyone.
Lars got one,
everyone.
Ozzy got one, Zappina got one, right? So it's like we're trying to buff movement, but at the same time we're going to shut movement completely down.
Absolutely.
And I looked at these old videos of mine, and I don't want to keep going on about it, but I've gotten so many comments of people saying that I'm somehow the problem, and that I've been trying to like shit on this community and this game for a long time. But I said that I think that when you are trying to make the game as approachable
मेन मैन
and easy
कैजुअल
as
प्लेयर्स
possible
के
for
लिए ही है.
bad
मतलब उसका
players,
कंटेंट तो वो वही कर रहा
the way
है.
you do that is you make it about 50-50
ये कैजुअल प्लेयर्स
because
उसे देखते हैं
anybody
क्योंकि
can win a coin flip, right? So if you can just
कोर
force that
कम्युनिटी तो
situation,
पता
and
चल ही गया
then
कि
when
कुछ
we
भी
saw the
बोलता है
first
अब.
ever trailer, so this is before the
बोल
game
रहा है
was
ब्रायन
out,
का
when
न्यूट्रल
the
खराब
first
हो
time we
गया है
ever
अब.
saw them show heat in a trailer, I made a video breaking down how that is going to be a mechanic that allows you to force multiple 50-50s in a row. And the implications that that's going to have. And I'm obviously not the only one who's been noticing this. I mean, so many of us have been talking about it for ages, right? Not everybody has a platform and a voice in the same way, but it's crazy.
अर्जुन को भी मरे और राधा ने बैन कर रखा है ट्विटर पे.
Please, you bigger content creators with 100K plus subs out there, why aren't you talking about this? It's really, really important that we get eyes on this.
अभी एरिस वाला भी देखूंगा भाई क्या बात हुई.
They're sitting around making they listened videos, and it
हाँ भाई पूरा चेंज हो गया. पहले नहीं था ऐसा मेन मैन.
when we know for a
7
fact
और
that they
टैग
are
2 के
probably
टाइम.
the worst at that of like any company I've ever heard of. But I said at the beginning,
अच्छा
when I
मरे
came
नहीं
on,
किया
that I
होगा,
think
मरे
there are
है
two
भाई.
main things to talk about when it comes to this
Man
specific
child.
like patch drop. So I think that the
मुझे लग रहा है एरिस को
the
भी
entire
बैन कर
process that
देगा
has
अब.
led up to this, because I think it's been happening.
एरिस ने तो मुंह पे बोल दिया.
Right? And I think if you are bad or new at the game, or you only see these things surface level, you
एक बार
haven't
टेकन
noticed
6
it.
देख के आओ
But
वापस.
now this patch, everybody's noticing it, right? The other thing is why this patch specifically is going to be a huge problem for Bandai Namco to attempt to solve. So the way you could have done this and had it be like a net positive for the game and a non-issue is do what any other good video game does, or any good video game does, which is play test it.
Yeah, they clearly
If you have a
Season
very
2 का
sensitive, competitive video game and you're about to introduce, like they said, and I quote, 1,500 balance
मेडिसन ने
changes,
यूट्यूब पे डाला
it
है.
might be a good
स्ट्रीम में
idea
देखना पड़ेगा.
to roll that out to the players on some sort of PTR and play test it, because when you have like 5 incompetent people in house and the strongest player you have on the team is Mishima Stark, who I fucked in the ass online, so they have nobody better than me, and that's a big fucking problem. When you only have those 5 and you're testing, all these characters, 1,500 changes, there's no way that you're going to be able to roll out something that is quality. They didn't intend for Paul's Hammer of the Gods to give him guaranteed unblockable while standing for unblocked.
Absolutely.
But the community found that in minutes, because we are
5
much
seconds,
better at
In
the
5
game
seconds.
than them,
5 seconds.
and there's thousands of us. So you roll out this fucking this fucking bucket of afterbirth of a patch on the PTR.
पता नहीं कौन
have
devs हैं
this
balance stream में,
same
पता नहीं.
reaction that we've had right now. Oh, it's trash. The game's going to hell, and everything. And then they can go, okay, we've decided to release to delay the release of season 2 for a month. We're listening to your feedback. We're trying to roll back some of these things. But now it's already implemented in the game, and you're going to have to wait weeks before they even remove the chip damage on throw break.
Yeah.
Chip damage तो totally
Now
हटा
that
हुआ है यार.
because it's already in the
पूरा
game,
हटाओ, chip
people
damage ही
can
हटाओ
now
game से.
review the game negatively, and it's overwhelmingly negative on Steam right now. What do you think that's going to do for sustained sales going forward, right? So why don't you play test these things? It's obvious that you don't know how to play your game, understand it very well, and want to take it in the wrong direction. But if you play tested these things, you could avoid this entire thing, and now you can. I want to say one more thing that I think is very, very important. We've talked about it on this show before, how the community tends to have amnesia issues, right?
Yeah.
So they do 15 things that suck ass, and then they change one of them, and people go, oh, they listened, and we're at negative 14 in terms of changes, right? You have to remember that you could roll back every single
चलो
change
bugs
that
तो
came
ठीक
out
है
in
पर
season 2.
कोई sane
Remove everything that
actual
people are
sane
going
Tekken
berserk
player
about right now, and
Brian
you
को full crouch
still
mix up
have
क्यों
a
दे
game
देगा?
where they haven't figured out cheating, that has secret cheating cabals with hundreds of members, like
चलो उन्हें
Blackheart
ज़्यादा
and Mike, you guys
core
talked about
mechanics
a
नहीं
few weeks
पता
ago.
game के.
In this whole season 2 thing, they
Exploits
haven't
वगैरह
mentioned
नहीं
the cheating thing a
ढूंढ
single
सकते पर
Yeah,
full
and I
crouch
wanna say
mix up
something.
Brian को.
In the Tekken talk, people spammed this. People said, address the cheaters, address the cheaters, address the cheaters in chat. And they read chat. They read the chat and they just ignored it. They just ignored it. Sorry,
और वो
go on.
loop दे दिया
And
जो.
just to let you know, Frame,
ignored it or blocked it. Yeah.
just to let you know, Blackheart
Riddle
is
का तो
actually
समझ ही नहीं
this
आता
cheating
भाई
situation
sarcasm है कि
is
क्या.
far worse than we thought. Like the videos that me and Blackheart
Riddle
did
है
before
लगता है balance team
are
में
a
Riddle हो
fraction
सकता है.
of what he's been sending me. But because there's been so much shit going on, we just haven't gotten around to doing a follow up. But it is far worse than what we thought.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's that makes perfect sense to me. So right, they can try and fix this entire situation, which they can't, and that only brings us back to square one, which is
ये
a
तो ये
really
हमेशा
bad
से ही
place
करते
for the
हैं.
game.
को
We still need
अकुमा
cheaters,
को जो क्रॉस अप
and
टैग
Heat is
था
still
हटाने के लिए
trash, and we
सबका
still
क्रॉस
have
अप
all
टैग
these
हटा
issues,
दिया.
right? So the emergency patch that they will release is going to change two things that relates to gameplay directly. The two most egregious things, which is the Paul Hammer of the Gods and the
7 में
new
किया था ये.
Make some
jumping move
noise.
for Jack, which is called Make Some Noise.
Devil Jin
Everything
के
is
heavens
great,
get
but
nerf
the
करने के लिए
awful
काजुया का भी कर
boring
दिया.
bullshit, that the commentators say make some noise is the
Make some
name
noise.
of the move that is killing the franchise, because I believe that the offline scene is part of what is killing the franchise. But you could remove all of those things, and it doesn't change the fact that most characters have
और -10
+100
और
damage
-12
combos
no
that
risk है
stand in right
almost
now
mix up
without
में.
using any fucking walls. I mean, all of these
और
crazy
वॉल
new
पे तो दोनों ही
combos,
लॉन्च मतलब
you can
एक वॉल
only
फ्लैट
really
करेगा और
fix
फिशरमैन
them by
स्लैम
going
लॉन्च कर
into
देगा.
all of these individual moves.
It's gonna take
and
months. It's gonna take
changing
months.
them. So yeah, it's gonna take months if they are even willing to try it. And they also can't remove any of the moves because they are the character's new moves. So they are the main new thing being added in the season, which they will never do. So by not playtesting this and rolling it out in the specific way that they did, they have fucked
क्रश भी ब्रेक कर ही
themselves
देते
to a
हैं.
point
लोज
where I don't
लो
believe
पैरी
that
भी
they
नहीं
have
कर लो
time
पैरी
to
क्यों नहीं
fix it before the community at large starts abandoning this game. I don't care that your big streamers are sitting around saying that we're reacting early, and there's no way
Season
we
2
can know.
कुछ
Of course we can know. We know that 110 damage from a normal stunning launcher is a big problem in this
-12 लो
game.
पैरी नहीं कर
We don't
सकते.
need to play the game for like 5 months to figure that out, right? Everybody knows that that's a problem.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, my theory is, I don't
मैं
know. I
पागल
mean,
हो
I
जाऊंगा
guess
भाई खेल के
Mayman's,
टेकन.
I think he's probably planning to buy a house or something. That's my guess. But who knows? And he's just trying to make the fucking down payment. Maybe he can, people watch him play Dead by Daylight as well,
अंडरग्राउंड
right?
2 का
But
वाइड स्क्रीन
honestly,
पैच
if you have been trying to
उन्हीं की
like
वेबसाइट पे होगा कुछ.
glaze this
TCX2
franchise for
की
your own
वेबसाइट है.
benefit because you need the game to stay alive for you to have a paycheck, you have to remember that when you do this, it's a fucking bubble economy, okay? There's no such thing as free lunch. This is the first thing I learned when I started studying business. They say this to you. There's no such thing as free
पीसी
lunch.
पे आ जाए
And
यार
all
ये
that
सारे
means
पुराने
is
टेकन गेम्स.
money is always moving in the
पर इन्हें
background.
पता है सब छोड़
Nothing
देंगे
happens
टेकन
for
8.
free. If something is consistently too good to be true, that means that you're looking at a bubble, and sooner or later the bubble bursts, and we're looking at the bubble bursting right now. and you keep gassing up and glazing a game that has such huge fucking issues as this, and you keep telling the developers that they are doing a great job when they're doing everything wrong, and the developers themselves are creating their own echo chambers where they only see positive feedback, this is where you end up. The game is being review bombed to hell on Steam. Last time they managed to get the bad
remove
reviews
कर दिए थे.
removed from Steam because they called it Chinese,
Bots.
bot bombing because of racism issue with tournament admissions or whatever. But I don't think this time they have a legal leg to stand on. I mean, Gabe isn't going to let them get away with this time, right? So people who think about checking out this game, they're going to go on Steam now, see that the game is overwhelmingly negatively reviewed, and they're going to go online and, maybe they click on Main Man or Spag, but if they find any of our videos, then they are going to figure out that it's not a game worth spending money on. And maybe
P7 में तो मुझे movement better
to a
लगता है
level of nearly
T8
brain
से
dead
अब,
12
क्योंकि
year-olds with their mother's credit card,
retarded homing
dressing up
moves
in
नहीं है ना
photo
उसमें.
mode or whatever. But at that point, the culture is dead, and the game isn't competitive.
5 times per hour.
I mean, can you imagine
All tap कर रहे होगे.
a major tournament
उसको
having
तो borderless पे
happening in
खेलो.
this current patch?
Yeah, it
No,
would be
it's
fun
not
as
doable.
fuck, I
It's
can
not-
tell you
Can you
that.
imagine
not
all the
doable. It's
major
not
pro
doable.
players going up on the stage, and whoever wins that tournament
Borderless
gets the
will crash
award,
हो जाएगा.
not being able to talk about this directly, not being able to say the game is in a trash state right now. When
उसमें
the
all
major
tap तो
things,
50-50
people
है भाई
just
almost.
pick Leroy,
Tekken
and
8 की
trying
तरह
to
all
dance
tap
around
कर
the
दो.
issue, and then Rick is fucking sitting there
Crash
trying to
होगा
say
या नहीं
cup
होगा?
noodle and break
Task
machine
manager always
Aussie
on top कर
action
लो.
figure at the same
That-
time. He's
that-
he's pissed now because they ruined
Option
his
select
character,
है वो.
but
I want
I mean,
to.
it's-
The Leroy. I just want to say this because that is the
अरे
moment
input
where I
lag बहुत है
realized
Tekken 7
something
में.
is really wrong here because they had Murray and all the people. They had. It was a time where they were there in person at the tournament, and no
Borderless से
one,
शायद और
no
input lag
one,
आता
they
होगा.
asked him about bro. No one stopped to ask them, like, Murray, what is up
Real
with
mashing.
Leroy? Like no one. They were with in private, and they even said stuff like, "Oh, we are not supposed to say nerfed. We are supposed to say adjusted." Like,
हाँ,
what
input
kind
lag
of,
नहीं है
of
ना 8 में
cocksuckers
इसलिए.
are you, bro? What is this?
Exactly. I
Who-
mean,
who
there's
was
that
that?
famous Core gaming video that says that it's got
was
millions
Markman.
of views, and it says buffs are better than nerfs. And I remember seeing that
Yeah.
when we were
That
playing
video
Tekken
destroyed
7. I
everything.
saw that thumbnail, and I'm like, no, that's not true. And then I think I talked on my stream about why that's not true. And I think that's a mentality that it's not because of that video, but maybe people bought into that. But I'll tell you why that's not the case. In the game, you have relative strength and you have absolute strength. I've
Mishima's
said
की
this
movement
many
तो मुझे
times.
better लग रही है
You can't
7 में.
have all the characters be equally mega broken and have it be a balanced game because we have absolute parameters in the game. The length of a round, the size of a health bar, the size of a stage, the amount of seconds a person is willing to be continuously launched and out of control of their character before they lose their minds. Okay? So you have to create a balance that is good and healthy
System ही
in
खराब है,
relation to
हाँ.
the absolute parameters of the game for anybody to be able to stand it. Okay, you can't just give everybody touch of death combos and call it balance. That doesn't work.
Why do
Okay,
you,
so if you
why do you say it
if
doesn't
you
work?
it doesn't work because so say we're in like season 2 we have right now. We're taking one step further. Say that everybody literally can kill off with a single launch. That we get it to that point. That means that all the characters in the roster are equal. So theoretically the balance is good, but the game will be unbearable to play.
अभी तो
because
almost
you will
1000
either
players थे
spend
ही
the entire
7 में.
round comboing or the entire round
वो
just
बढ़ ही
killing
जाएंगे
combos.
धीरे धीरे.
So the only reason I ask is because
It's
there are
not.
games
It's not
like that.
healthy. It's not
There are
healthy.
games like
It's
that.
not
Not at World Tour level, not mod. It's arguable to say modern games. So I think there are some modern games where
It should not be.
maybe not one touch, but you get two touch situations.
Yeah, I mean,
हाँ, सिर्फ heat
in Marvel,
engagers ही
Marvel,
होने
but I
चाहिए.
get it, but
No,
talking
modern games. I'm
specifically
talking
about-
like Street
हाँ,
Fighter
वो भी सही है
and
एक तरीके
like
से.
these
Okay.
generation games. You get two touch situations. I saw a clip with Brian doing it in Tekken 5, I think. Like two touch situations do happen. One
Plus on
touch
block
is a
hit
bit
smashes नहीं
rarer,
होना चाहिए.
but what I'm interested in is the aspect of because I remember Mike saying this earlier about balance, and balance isn't just about every character being viable, but that's what most people think. So I was trying to ask,
That's a very surface level.
Yeah, that's what most people think, but that's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they haven't thought. But that's because they haven't thought about it enough. And also, say that you have a life bar with 180 points. Okay, if one combo does 150 damage, and then you need to do 30 more to finish the round, that's very different from if you have to do two combos to do 90 each. There's a lot of power creep that can happen in between those two
मैनुअल
steps.
हिट बर्स्ट
Yes.
वो भी सही नर्फ
Yeah.
होगा.
So my point is that if you
हीट
have
एंगेजर तो अब शायद
power at this
+10 कर
level,
देंगे या पता
even
नहीं.
if the characters are equal, there are so few interesting interactions are around that the game becomes boring to play for anybody who knows anything about it.
Can I jump in
ड्रैगनॉफ
real
को
quick?
दे दिया है,
go
फैंग
on.
को दे दिया है,
Frame
लियो
this,
के
bro.
पास
You don't know me.
सिखाई.
I'm some anime guy.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta go. And
yeah, don't
I'm
worry,
so
I'm-
sorry because I always do this, and I love you guys talking about this. And I think it's very important. Thank you for having me on at a short while. I'm gonna like try and collect my thoughts on this, and within the next few days, I'll release my own video about what I
Let's
think
go. Let's go.
here.
Let's go. Let's go.
And you know, permanent and.
Tekken 6 looks cool. I watched that game recently. Tekken 6 is a really nice looking game. Go back and watch Bruce. He just looks so cool. His moves, the way he stands, his shorts, and then like the hit sparks in those games. The hit sparks in those games are so subtle. Nothing too over the top. No flames and explosions. It really lets the actual like martial art
किंग जे को तो पसंद आ रहा है.
stand out. Hey, Michael Murray! How's it going, man? Oh, man. You gotta call me up. We need to hang out, dude. Michael Murray, you and me, when you're around next time, give me a call. I want to buy you dinner. We gotta talk, dude. We gotta talk, man. I want some of that marijuana that you guys
Arrest
are
Tekken
smoking
Savior.
over there at the Namco Police Department. Where did you guys get that shit, dude? That shit is... Where did you guys get that shit, dude? That shit you're smoking, you guys, I'm telling you. It is... That is the stuff. That is the Ojibong Grandmaster Season 2 Kush.
इसने तो छोड़ ही दिया Tekken.
Season 2 Kush?
बस टूर्नामेंट देख
I'm
लेता
happy
है.
to see you, Michael
Sponsored
Murray. I'm
stream कर
always
देता है
happy to
कभी-कभी.
see you, but more now than ever. 'Cause since you guys got that Season 2 Kush, man, let me tell you, that's next level. That's next level Kush. I hope you're doing great, man. Dude, let me tell you, before you got here, what I was saying was that Tekken 6, when you watch
हाँ
that
7
game,
में ही छोड़ दिया.
Michael, take some time. Take some time when you have some time and you're on the internet and just Google Tekken 6 and look at some Bruce matches in Tekken 6 and watch that shit. And look at it. Look at the way
मैंने
the
तो अभी
hit
देखा ही
sparks
नहीं
look.
anime.
Look at the way the kicks look, the combos. And then I want you to go and watch this.
और क्या इसकी चैट में मरे आया था.
Oh, that's all I want you to do. That's it. That's all I ask. When you have time. You know? I did that recently. Thank you. And I really, really liked the way Tekken 6 looked. Subtle, really like focusing on like the characters in those games, the older ones, the characters really jump out of the screen. You really see them. But in the newer ones, it's almost like everything else is obscuring the characters. All of the flashes, all of the lightning, the backgrounds, the lights, everything is just taking away
वो भी मैंने देखा क्या.
from the actual characters themselves. Even the clothes
Devil
that
Trigger
you
वाला
guys
उसे
make these
डांटे को
characters
थीम
wear
सॉन्ग बना दिया.
to show all the flowing jackets and shit, that takes away from the characters. If you look at Bruce in Tekken 6 specifically, he just looks so cool. You can see him clearly. You can see everything. There's nothing to hide. Look at this. Explosions. Round 1. There was a nuclear explosion when it said round 1. I'm just pointing these things out. Look at the screen. It's so hard to even see.
सही में क्लाइव से तो कुछ नहीं दिखता जब भी क्लाइव खेलते हैं.
Michael, look at it. Thank you. Anyway, just I wanted to point that out, and I'm really happy to see it. Can't see anything. Michael, I'm begging you. Basically, right? Do you remember that? I've begged you before, Michael. You know that?
हाँ, जब अल्फा टेस्टिंग चल रही थी.
Met you, I begged you. I did. Michael, please. I'm begging you, dude. I'm begging you. Other people were like, can I please have your autograph? I was like, this can't be this way. How could this be?
ये वही ऐसे किसी को भी बोल देते हैं बना दो एनिमे बिना गेम खेले. भी किसी एक और का भी लाइव एक्शन आ रहा है किसी गेम का और उसका डायरेक्टर बोल रहा है मैंने एक भी गेम नहीं खेला है. कौन सा था नाम नहीं याद आ रहा मुझे गेम का.
It's the way it is, amigo. Wow, look at the lasers. Give it to her. Oh no!
नाइट विजन इसका कैमरा खराब है.
There you go. Atta boy. Hey, someone woke the baby. Thanks. Thanks, Michael Murray licked my balls. Appreciate it, amigo. Thanks, Cadet and Hostess Truck. That was fun. Anyway, thanks. Thank you.
नहीं मुझे लग रहा है मरे पेट पड़ जाएगा कहीं टूर्नामेंट में चला गया तो.
I don't think it was an actual sex proposition. I think he's trying to say that he's displeased. Michael's like, Considering it? Listen, Michael, it was not an actual sexual proposition, dude. I think that's just a disgruntled Tekken fan. But I guess, you know what? I'm not sure. Possibly he just really is into you. Hey man, you know, could be true. I don't want to stand in the way of love. Love on the battlefield.
Game dev found it.
That was funny though.
Only way to save Tekken.
Man, he switched to this sword guy, dude. I think Sekobi's got this.
ये Tekken 7 mod कर लो ऐसे. ओ ये 7 है. अच्छा नहीं 8 है. ये 7. देखने में सिर्फ रिवील ट्रेलर ही सही लगता है वो. ये जो ट्रेलर था ये बहुत क्लीन था. उल्टे सीधे इफेक्ट्स नहीं थे. वो तो मैंने कर दिया है तब भी मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये देखो कितना सही लग रहा है। कुछ हीट वीट नहीं भाई। क्या कर दिया यार गेम को। वैसे मोशन कैप्चर्ड है ये पर। इसको देख के लगा था हेल्थ स्वीप एनिमेशन में फिक्स कर दिया है। ये देखो हेल्थ स्वीप एनिमेशन शायद फिक्स किया था। ये तो सिस्टम इमोजन। इसके बाद जो ट्रेलर आया था ना वो देख के थोड़ा डर लग रहा था, पता नहीं क्या मीटर लगा दिया टेकन में। हाँ FF3+ लग रहा था।
Fight.
1 to 4। तो ये वर्चुअल फाइटर जैसा लग रहा है एकदम, जैसे लगना चाहिए मार्शल आर्ट्स। तो कोई रुकता तक नहीं है। फुल मीटर के लिए। कितना रियलिस्टिक लग रहा है, मार्शल आर्ट्स लग रहे हैं एक्चुअल।
10年早いんだよ。
टेकन 7 में देखते क्या। पता नहीं, मैंने खेला ही नहीं कभी वर्चुअल फाइटर। इसका इंट्रो भी बेटर है मुझे लगता है।
全てはここから始まった。
तुम क्यों कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो डिस्कॉर्ड सर्वर में?
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7.
दस 11 अप्रैल।
Kazuya Mishima.
मैं दे दूंगा। ज़्यादा इनपुट लैग नहीं लग रहा बॉर्डरलेस में।
New Challenger.
कीबोर्ड नहीं भाई रिडल अफवाहें फैला रहे हैं ट्रांसफॉर्मर है वो
Get ready for the next battle.
ये गेम अब टूर्नामेंट के लिए नहीं है यार अब पता नहीं कैसे खेलेंगे लोग
Round 1. Fight.
हाँ कीबोर्ड ही है यार वो नाइस वन
KO. Round 2. Fight.
हाँ क्लास कनेक्शन ही ऐसा है कि बॉर्डरलेस की वजह से लाग लग
KO. Round 3. Fight.
तो इसमें और क्या खेलेंगे नो हिटिंग एजर
क्या बोलते पब्लिक बड़ा पाव फिर से मम्मा कुर कुप कुप मैं तेरे से पहला तू मेरे पे गईला कॉपी कर करके तू हो गया मैला अभी तू मार्केट में न्यू आइला कुछ ना छाइला देव को देख के तू आगे जाइला राधे सोहन का ब्लॉग्स का नाम तू डुबाइला तो देख मेरा एल जिस पे तू उड़ा उसको मैंने क्या खाइला मुझसे जल रही तेरी बहन मेरी घर जाकर बत्ती बुझाकर सो जा मम्मा सरक 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 वटा रख मम्मा वटा इनको वटा
नाइस यार
KO. Final round.
I for launch
Fight.
अरे
You win. Get ready for the next battle. Round 1. Fight.
ये शायद बॉर्डरलेस की वजह से इतना लैग लग रहा है।
KO.
हाँ पीसी पे प्लेयर मिल रहे हैं।
Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight.
दो डिले फ्रेम्स टेकन 7 में बहुत फील होता है डिले फ्रेम्स में।
Challenger.
हाँ करता हूँ। सेवन की ना। इस गेम में DRM है नहीं तो INI फाइल से ही हो जाए। वीडियो भेज रहा हूँ देख लेना। नहीं नहीं ऑनलाइन नहीं खेलूँगा। ऑफलाइन खेलना है तो खेल लो।
New challenger. Get ready for the next battle.
ऑनलाइन का भी कुछ हो पता नहीं देख लेना। अरे गियास ये तो ऑनलाइन वर्ल्ड है। गीगा वेगास मतलब यार।
Round 1. Fight.
गीगास क्यों ला रहे हो यार। अरे हाँ ग्राउंडेड भी।
Round 2.
देखो 8 MS कोरियन कनेक्शन -14 है। वो 20% पहुंच गया वहाँ तो।
KO. Round 3. Fight.
रेड ड्राइव मारो भाई।
Round 4. Fight.
पनिश। यहाँ पे भी ऑनलाइन वर्ल्ड ये सब खेलेगा।
Final round. Fight.
नाइस इलेक्ट्रिक रेंज। यार लैग लग रहा है मुझे बॉर्डरलेस में।
KO. You win.
स्ट्रीम लैग होने लगी। नहीं हो रही है।
Welcome to
पता
the
नहीं
king of
reactable है
Iron
कि
Fist
नहीं।
tournament, Kazuya Mishima. New challenger.
रिफ्रेश करो नहीं होगी। इधर तो कुछ नहीं ड्रॉप हो रहा। तो इनपुट लैग सा लगता है इस गेम में यार बहुत ज़्यादा। पता नहीं कैसे खेलते थे।
New challenger.
स्ट्रीम भी डिस्कनेक्ट नहीं होता इस गेम में बीच बीच में। मुझे लगता है बॉर्डरलेस चेंज ही नहीं हुआ। इसमें तो वो भी करना पड़ता है डिसेबल कुछ फुल स्क्रीन ऑप्टिमाइजेशंस। हाँ
Welcome to the king of Iron Fist Tournament 7, Kazuya Mishima.
हार्ड इनपुट था वो हेल्थ स्वीप एवेंस का ऐसे नहीं वन दबा दो। अब सही है। 8 नहीं खेलना, पागल हो जाऊंगा 8 खेल के। हाँ यार 8 खेला नहीं जा रहा मुझसे यार।
Challenger.
इस गेम में एग्जीक्यूशन का अलग ही मजा है। ये कौन था? डाउनलोड नहीं हो रहा? मैं वही वाले पूरा वही दे देता हूँ, रुको मेरे पास भी है ड्राइव में। क्विक में नहीं होगा कोई? क्विक कौन खेलता है पुराने गेम में? हाँ थर्ड पार्टी। डार्क प्रिंस, जहन्नम कॉम्बोज। गीगा सीगा तो मत खेला है।